You are drifting now. Slowly, gently, the sea cradles you like a giant, breathing blanket of ink blue silk. No land in sight, no motors, no metal, just a wide expanse of water, and the quiet creak of wood against wave. Your canoe, hand-lashed and ancient in design, slides across the Pacific like it belongs here, because it does. Two slender hulls joined by a single platform, a single sail catching the wind like a whisper. This is not modern sailing. This is voyaging, and you are a voyager. There's no compass in your hand, no map folded in your pack, but you are not lost, not even close. Above you, the stars are waiting. They've always been there, watching, whispering, shimmering in their steady rhythm. You don't look at them like we do today, from behind glass and skyscrapers. You listen to them, because every point of light is part of the memory, a direction, a story passed down by heart. The sky becomes a conversation, one that your ancestors began long before you were born, and one you are now ready to continue. You lie back, let the night sky wash over you. The Milky Way arcs above you like a glowing river. Some call it the spine of the sky. You smile. To you, it's the wake of a great celestial canoe, paddling across the heavens. You know its name, Te Waka o Tamari Reti, the canoe of Tamari Reti. Your canoe, mirrored above, somewhere behind you, far over the dark horizon, is the island you left. Somewhere ahead, but this is not a race. This is not a rush. The sea does not respond to urgency. You sail with patience, with rhythm, with a trust so old it lives in your bones. The canoe sighs as it rises and falls over the gentle swell. A wave curls under the hull, lifting it just slightly, then setting it down again. You can almost hear the ocean speaking, not with words, but with touch, a pulse, a presence. The stars shift slowly above, and you shift with them. Your teacher once told you, the sky is not a map, it is a memory palace. You don't read it, you remember it. You remember the rising arc of Hakale in the east means you are on course. The way Hakian Elu sets to the west means home is behind you. Each star rises and sets in its own doorway, known by name, by angle, by season. Even with your eyes closed, you can feel where you are. You taste the salt in the wind, just a bit stronger now, which means the air is curving around a landmass far ahead. You feel a subtle shift in the waves, longer and lower. That means you're crossing a deeper trench. You adjust the sail without opening your eyes. The canoe responds. A seabird flies overhead, quiet to wings. No call, a lone turn. You know its flight. If it comes back within the hour, you'll know land is near. Everything is a sign, but nothing is hurried. You are not reading the sea. You are listening to it, and it listens back. You think of those who came before, your great-grandparents, and theirs, wayfinders without instruments. They memorized the path between stars and islands using chants, metaphors, and endless watching. They carved oceans into their minds. You feel them here, somehow, in the curve of the canoe's beams, in the salt-damp fibers of the lashings, in the way your hand knows just where to rest on the rudder. You are never alone out here. The past is with you. Night deepens. The stars sharpen. You shift your body to the port side. Feel the wind brush your cheek. Feel now. The air smells faintly of hibiscus and whetstone. You don't ask why. You just know, and knowing is enough. You watch New, the navigation star, climb higher. Its arc tells you you've made it 60 miles since sundown. You smile, not because you measured it, but because you felt it. You can almost hear your ancestors chuckle. You're doing fine. The canoe rocks gently, like a cradle. The sea hums its slow lullaby beneath you. Stars drift past like lanterns in the sky. You are wrapped in wind, water, and memory, and slowly, ever so slowly, your eyes begin to close. You are not lost. You are exactly where you are meant to be, and for tonight, that is enough. You wake before the world does, not with a jolt or a sound, but with that quiet certainty that something has shifted, just enough to stir your awareness. The sea is still calm. Your body is still swaying with the canoe, but the stars are moving. They always are. You open your eyes to a sky so dark it's almost purple. The Milky Way spills across it in soft strokes of silver and white. You blink slowly, your vision adjusting, and soon, The entire dome above you seems alive, glittering, twinkling, breathing. It reminds you of fireflies, thousands of them, but these don't blink at random. They blink with purpose. You reach for the small wooden cup by your side and sip cool, salty water. You're not in a hurry. You never are out here. Navigation, like dreaming, works best when it unfolds slowly. There are no written charts in your canoe, no numbers to memorize, no digital voices telling you where to turn. But you have the stars, and they are better than any compass ever made, because they do not lie. You sit out gently. Your back is sore in that familiar way, a good kind of tired. You look up and see it again, the star compass. Not drawn, not carved, but memorized. The horizon around you is divided into houses. Okar Lolo Okar Lani, the mind of the sky. Each star rises from its own house in the east and sets in a matching one in the west. You've been taught the names since childhood: Arkau, Hema, Thakina, Komahana, North, South, East, West, but also Nalio, La, Manu, Noyo, Leoka Arkau, names not of direction, but of identity. Each section of sky holds personality, history, and when a star rises within one of those houses, you know what direction you're sailing, without needing to move, without needing to ask. Tonight, you notice Hakapa, the North Star. It barely moves, it watches, it studies. If it's where it's supposed to be, then you are too. Below it, stretching from the eastern sky to the western horizon, is a diagonal swath of cloudy light, the Milky Way. It arcs above you like the rips of a great canoe. You know its local name, K. Kulmakarlii, the Baler of Makarlii. Your ancestors imagined this celestial curve as a giant scoop for bailing at the ocean sky. You smile at the poetry, at the practicality. You notice other stars now, too. Ones that serve as guides, not just decoration. Pu'arna, your starting point. Leula, the direction of red soil. The Kianalia, the perth of yellow mist. Lehua, the flowering one. Each name is tied to a memory, and each memory carries a bearing. You were told never to memorize these things like a textbook. You must live them, feel them, build them into your stories. And so you did. You remember when you first learned to see, not just look, but see how stars rise and fall in perfect arcs, like dancers tracing invisible ropes across the night. The teacher pointed up and said, "Watch that one. Count the breaths between its rising and its setting. That is a day's sailing." You watched, you counted, and now, all these years later, you're doing it without even thinking. You read the sky like others read books, and it reads you back. Some stars come in pairs. They rise together, lean together, set together. The twins. If you sail too far north, they pull apart. If you sail too far south, one vanishes. But if you stay on course, they hold each other's hands. It's a gentle sign, easy to miss unless you know where to look. You know. You glance toward the eastern horizon. A faint pinkness is beginning to bloom. Soon, the sky will begin to hide its stars, one by one, like a stage play ending quietly. But you've already marked them, already remembered who rose where, and who is still traveling. You have enough to guide you through the day. You stretch your arms, legs, back. The canoe groans along with you, as if waking too. One of the lashings creaks under pressure. Nothing urgent, just a reminder that even tradition needs occasional tending. You don't sail in a straight line. No one ever did. Instead, you tack zigzagging like the birds, always adjusting, always interpreting. Navigation isn't about following a path. It's about dancing with it. You think of the flight of the naughty turn, how it loops and darts. Then suddenly banks England, a silent announcement that land is near. You've seen it happen a dozen times. Still, it feels like magic, the kind of magic that makes you believe the ocean is not an obstacle, but a teacher. You smile again. There's no one to see it, just the stars above, and the sea below, and maybe that's enough. You lean back onto the platform and breathe in deeply. The scent of woven candanas, salt, old rain. The wind ruffles your hair like a familiar hand. The fireflies above you begin to fade, slipping into the quiet dawn. But their lessons stay with you, locked in muscle memory, in stories, in the corners of your eyes. And soon, It will be time to sail by cloud, swell, and sun, but for now, you just watch. You watch a sky full of fireflies disappear and feel your way forward into the day. You are still sailing, still dreaming. The sun has risen now, gentle and gold, casting a soft shimmer across the sea. The horizon has returned, no longer blurred in night's velvet, but sharp, like a line drawn with care. Still no land, just blue above and blue below, but your canoe moves with purpose, like it remembers, and it should. Because this canoe is not just a vessel, it is a story, shaped into wood. You ran your hand along the polished trail beside you. It is smooth, but not flawless. You can feel where the craftsman joined the planks. You can see the knots in the lashings. Everything here was made by hand, by calloused fingers and careful eyes, using tools carved from coral, shell, and bone. This is a waka, or a vaka, or a war, depending on which island you came from. But whatever you call it, it is the same spirit. A double-hulled canoe, lashed together with rope made from coconut fiber and sealed with tree sap. It does not look like it should cross oceans. And yet, it did. It always did. You think of how many canoes came before yours. Dozens, then hundreds, then thousands, sailing from island to island across a sea that covers half the globe, with no compass, no written charts. Just the stars, the swirl, and memory, and yet they made it. From Samoa to Hawaii, from Tahiti to Aotearoa, from Rapa Nui to tiny, quiet atolls no one in the West had ever mapped. They weren't lost. They were finding. Your canoe rises gently over a wave. You feel its strength, its weight, and also its grace. These vessels were not designed for speed, but for trust. They ride the ocean like something born of it. Two hulls, always two. The twin design is not for style, it's for balance, stability, safety. The wide stance keeps you steady even when the waves grow bold. On a single-hulled canoe, you might tip, but here, you dance with the sea instead of fighting it. Between the hulls is your little world, a deck woven from planks and thatched mats, a simple shelter to hide from rain, a basket of dried fish, a coil of rope, a small pot for boiling water. If the winds are kind, everything has a purpose. Nothing is wasted. You recall what your teacher once said: the canoe is a floating village. You take what you need, you leave what you fear. You smile at the memory. You look around your floating village now. It is quiet. It is enough. Somewhere in the shadows of history, long before books told the world what it thought it knew, someone climbed into a canoe like this, perhaps your ancestor, and pointed it toward a place they could not see. And they went, not with recklessness, but with a confidence born of knowledge the modern world forgot to ask about. Western explorers centuries later marveled at the distances Polynesians had crossed. They wrote in journals, "Stand by it. Savages," they said at first. Then, "Lucky." Then, "Perhaps the stars helped." But you know better. You are the stars. You are the swirl. You are the whispered wind on woven sail. You glance at your mast. It leans a little now, just slightly to the west. The sail puffs with a soft exhale. You let it be. The wind knows where you're going. So does the canoe. You don't need a rudder in your hand every moment. You learned long ago that the sea doesn't like to be bossed around. It prefers cooperation, patience, quiet observation. You think again of your ancestors, children learning to carve planks from breadfruit trees, apprentices twisting cordage until their hands blistered, elders chanting to cool the spirits of the voyage, women weaving sails from pandanus leaves, blessing them with oil and song. The canoe is not a machine. It is a community. Floating on faith, a breeze lifts your hair. The scent of warm, wooden sun-dried salt fills your nose. You lie back on the deck, arms folded behind your head, and you let your body match the rhythm of the hull. You are not steering now. You are listening, letting the ocean speak its piece. Each soft crash of wave against hull is like a heartbeat. Steady, ancient, reassuring. You think of a journey ahead. How long until land? You don't know. But that's the wrong question anyway. You ask instead, am I in tune? You feel the canoe's response. A gentle shift in the deck, a creak of wood, a nod. Yes, you are. You drift in thought, Wonder what it must have felt like to first see an island rise from the sea. After weeks of sailing, just a smudge at first, then a line, then a mountain wearing clouds like a crown. That moment of certainty, of arrival, of proof that the stars had not lied, and neither had you. Your canoe rocks you again, slow and even, no rush. The stars will return tonight. The birds will offer clues by midday. The swell already sings of what's ahead, and you are ready, because you are not just sailing in the wake of those who came before. You are becoming one of them. The sun climbs higher now, warm but not harsh. It paints soft golden glints across the ridges of the waves, making the ocean look like one endless, breathing fabric. You sit upright again, cross-legged on the platform between the hulls. Around you, there's nothing but sea in all directions. No birds overhead, no floating leaves, no clouds that hint at land. And yet, you feel something, not the wind, not the stars, but something beneath it too. The swirl. It's easy to miss if you're not trained to feel it. If you only look with your eyes, you'll see 1,000 ripples, dancing and crossing, confusing and chaotic. But your skin knows better. Your bones know better. There's a rhythm under the noise, a deeper pattern. This is the ocean's voice, and you are learning to listen. You sit still, close your eyes, let your hands rest on the wooden deck, let your back lean just slightly against the beam behind you. Let the canoe speak through the movements it shares with the sea. There, you feel it, a long, slow roll coming from the northeast, not sharp, not loud, just a gentle rise every few seconds. That's one swirl. Then, beneath it, another, shorter, quicker, from the southeast, intersecting, layering, whispering, and a third, faint, wide, from the west, so subtle, it feels like a memory rather than emotion. You are surrounded by these ocean whispers. Each one is a messenger. Each one began somewhere far away, a storm hundreds of miles off, a trade wind pushing gently along the equator, the shadow of an island over the horizon, bending the water just slightly. The ocean has a memory, and it tells stories, not in words, but in patterns. The master navigators you trained under could read those patterns the way some people read faces. They'd crouch low in the canoe, close their eyes, and hum quietly to themselves as they listened to the sea through their spine. You thought it was strange at first, and now, here you are, humming without even realizing. Each swell moves through your canoe with its own rhythm, and you, in turn, respond. You adjust your body slightly, shift the sail just a touch. Nothing dramatic, just in tune. The term for this is feel, not in a poetic sense, though it is that too. It's practical, physical, intuitive. Your job as a wayfinder is to feel what the ocean is saying, and to answer without speaking. You think of the old saying, the stars point, the birds guide, but the swell remembers. When clouds block the sky, and birds fly low, and the sun hides in the storm, still, the swell remains. Beneath all confusion, the ocean remembers where you're going. Some days, when the sky is clear and the wind steady, you hardly need to check. The canoe finds the rhythm, and the rhythm finds the course. You just become part of the song. You let your hand trail off the edge of the platform, fingertips skimming the sea. It's warm, silky. The small ripples tickle your palm, but under them you can feel it again, that deep emotion, the breath of the world. If you had to, you could sail without stars. You could sail without sun. You could even sail with your eyes closed, because the swell will lead you. It bends when islands are near. It narrows when reefs rise. It curves around atolls like a hand guiding a path. You just have to be still enough to feel it. A small wave slaps the side of the hull, startling you a little. A reminder, the ocean isn't all lullaby. It can bark too. But even then, it's not cruel, just honest, direct. You shift again, adjusting the sail, correcting your direction slightly, just enough to stay on the swell's back, like riding along. Slow breath across time. In the distance, clouds begin to form, high ones, towering but soft, not stormy. You know what they mean. Islands shape the sky as much as the sea. You smile. The swell was right. Land is near. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, But soon, the waves are curving slightly now, just a few degrees. But your body knows. Your feet sense it in how the hull leans. Your ears catch it in the different slap of water on wood. This knowledge was never written. It was given, handed down from sailor to sailor, through chants, gestures, and long hours sitting side by side, watching the same water until it started to speak. You remember sitting in silence for hours beside your teacher, the two of you saying almost nothing, watching, feeling. And then, one day, it clicked. You felt the swirl bend under you, and you knew, just knew, that land was somewhere to the west. He looked at you and said, "Now, you're listening." You smile again. He'd be proud of you now, out here, alone with the sea and your canoe. No panic, no confusion, just attention. And that, in the end, is the greatest skill of all, to pay attention to the stars. Yes, and the birds, and the wind, but most of all, to the swell, to the oldest voice on earth, whispering beneath your hull, "This way. Steady now. You're not far." You breathe out. A long, easy breath. The canoe breathes with you, and the sea sings on. By late morning, the light has grown brighter, but not harsher. The ocean sparkles now, little diamonds scattered across a rolling blue blanket. The clouds above drift lazily, and your canoe glides on, steady and sure. You're thinking about a different kind of map, one that isn't written in ink or pixels, one you can't fold or swipe. This map is made of sticks and stones and memory. It sits in your mind now, not on your lap, but once it sat in someone's hands, woven carefully from thin strips of coconut midrib, tied into curves and crosses with twine, and decorated with white shells to mark the islands. The stick chart. The first time you saw one, you were a child. You stared at it like a puzzle, bent sticks crisscrossing in odd shapes, little shells scattered like confetti. It looked chaotic, random, almost meaningless. But then the elder held it out to you and said, "This is the ocean." You blinked. "These are the islands." He pointed to the shells, and these lines, he ran his finger along one arc, are the swell patterns, from different directions. Long ones, short ones, ones that bounce and bend. Each one tells a story, and just like that, the chart became a sentence, a song, a story of motion and memory. There were no measurements on it, no labels, no distance scales or compass roses. But it worked because it wasn't meant to be used on the voyage. It was meant to be learned before it, like a chant you memorize until it becomes instinct. You glance down at the deck of your canoe now, and you see it, not the chart itself, but the pattern it held, still fresh in your memory, still useful out here in the open sea. The curved stick meant to show where two swells cross, the short, straight ones that represent the local currents around atolls, the tiny shells placed with such care, each one a homeland or a stepping stone island. You smile. You don't need to hold the chart anymore. It's in your mind, etched like the lines of a familiar face. And then there is the star compass. Unlike the stick chart, which maps out the sea's surface, the star compass maps the sky itself, its rise and fall, its circular rhythms. But again, there are no tools, no machines, just your eyes, your ears, your body, and your memory. You turn your face to the sky now. Even though it's daytime and the stars are hidden, you still know where they are. You've memorized their positions relative to the horizon. You've trained to know which star rises where, and at what time of year. The compass has 32 points, like the petals of a flower or the rays of a sleeping sun. You learn each one, north, south, east, west, and all the subtle angles between. Your teacher told you to imagine it laid out around your canoe, invisible but solid, a great circle of guidance. You carry it with you wherever you go. It isn't guessing, it's remembering. The star compass taught you that navigation is not about the destination. It's about aligning yourself with the world, sky, sea, breath, body. Everything must be in tune. Some navigators learn by watching the stars, others by lying in a canoe at night and noting where each star rose and set as the boat drifted. They'd feel the angle of the breeze against the cheek and pair it with a star's position on the horizon, over and over, night after night, until it sank into the bones, and it stayed. You shift your gaze to the east. You know that when a A bright red star rises at a specific point just above the swirl. You are headed true east, and when new arcs overhead in the early morning, you're moving along a safe northern track. Even though those stars are sleeping now behind the daylight, you know exactly where they would be. And that's the power of these tools. They're not tools at all, really. They're part of you now. You think again of those old charts, sticks bent like waves, shells placed like islands. You remember the soft voices of teachers long gone, teaching not with pressure, but with patience. You didn't just memorize a chart, you became one. Even your dreams now follow the rhythm of the star compass. Some nights, you fall asleep hearing the names of the directions murmured like lullabies: Arkau, Kamaharna, Pakina, Hema. You feel the wind shift just slightly, warm and steady. It comes now from the southeast. You lean into it, adjusting your sail with a quiet motion, not even thinking about it. Your hand just moves, guided by trust. That's what this whole practice is. Trust in the canoe, in the sky, in yourself. The modern world often celebrates precision, but your world is built on harmony. You don't need to know the exact position of an island. You just need to be in rhythm with its presence, and that rhythm is carried in your canoe, in the sticks and shells of your memory, in the compass only you can see. You lean back now. The sea is calm. The swell continues its slow, ancient hum beneath you. The sky is bright, but you can still see the map, even with your eyes closed.